stands for who-we. That's what it stands for right now. So the thing about it is that I am here at www.wnrv1081.com, Nerve DJs, where we get on your nerve. Shout out to everybody that last week and this past weekend and other things that have sent me, have called me, texted me to check to see how I was doing with everything going on. I don't like to put everything out there, but usually when I do, it is appreciative that people care about the voice that I have here on www.wnrv1081.com here at Nerve DJs Network. My co-host, the Queen with the Gold Mike J. Price, is at a wake, so send our prayers out to her. Plus, the simple fact of the matter is, I'm also sending prayers out to my good friend Shayla Sanders, who lost her mom this past week, and also prayers to the family of the girl that got killed. The thing about it is that, we don't know about our lives until until they're gone or until something happens. We got to have people in our corner when we're going through what we're going through at this particular point in time. So the thing about it is that I really appreciate everybody that, has looked out and stepped up and things of that nature. And, pretty much who follow me and saying that, even somebody said, we don't want you to we don't want you to be down like this. We need you as far as a voice to bring out the truth. And I had a conversation with with a nice young woman who, is not even on my Facebook friends list, but talk to me about, the importance of delivering the message for the registered voters and the things of that nature. Speaking of registered voters and politicians, Blaine Griffin is now the new Cleveland City Council president. Blaine Griffin, who will replace Kevin Kelly, who was the former city council president, will be January, who lost his election to Justin Bibb, who is now Mayor-elect Justin Bibb, as we announced last week. Kevin Kelly will now go into his private practice, and Blaine Griffin will take over pretty much that time. Speaking of takeover, there's also at Tri-C East, there is a selection committee for the Cuyahoga County Democratic chair, which will be vacated by Chantel Brown, who is going on to Congress. When she won her election, she has now had to vacate that seat. So a couple of people, Marcia McCoy, Andre White, and things of that nature. Shout out to you guys. Also got going on Black crime. There's also another protest next week for Sharon Williams. But the thing about it is, let's get down to brass tacks. Team Bibb, Justin Bibb's transition team, has now been put in perspective. So the thing about it is that right now, we have, the city, now we have 8 people. We have 3 women and 5 men. We have 2 African-American men. One is a pastor, 2 African-American women, 2 Caucasian men, and 1 Caucasian woman. So the co-chairs represent the labor, business, faith, and community sections, will oversee 10 committees tasked with creating a plan to tackle the top priorities on day 1 of the Bibb administration in January. Now, according to a statement released this Wednesday, November 10th, by Bibb's transition manager, Bradford Davey. Now, these co-chairs represent a diverse and dynamic team, and we are grateful to be guided by the cross-section of leaders to advise the community-led transition process that will help inform the goals and priorities to prepare the mayor-elect to take office in January. Now, he is the same person that was the campaign manager for U.S. Representative Marcy Kaptur, Democrat in Toledo, is the current director of the regional engagement at the Fund for Our Economic Future. Now, the thing about it is like the 6 co-chairs who are as follows. Daryl McNair, president and CEO of MVP Plastics Corp., former labor and nonprofit leader John Ryan, Paul Clark, PNC Bank Cleveland's former regional president, Erica Anthony, executive director of the Ohio Transformation Fund, Phyllis Seven Harris, executive director of the LGBT Community Center of Greater Cleveland, and Richard Gibson, pastor at Elizabeth Baptist Church. Bibb's transition Bibb's transition plan also involves working with current Mayor Frank Jackson's administration. Now, a successful transition will require close collaboration between the co-chairs, transition staff, and everything else. Bibb takes office in January, and the former nonprofit executive, after he bested again Kevin Kelly in that particular race for the mayor of the city of Cleveland, he will be the 58th mayor that this Cleveland has had, and among the few African American mayors that are there. This transition team represents diverse cultures. There might be a Latino added to the mix. I have no idea. I will keep you posted as soon as there. Shout out to everybody, from Stacey Yadada to Heather Cavens. Thank you very much for listening to me on IG and everything else like that. And if you're listening to www.wnrv1081.com, Nerve DJs Network, you also can call in at 216-249-6658, as stated before. Now, the reason I'll bring up the transition team is because transition of power is very important. You want to keep the ideas for the good of the community that the soon-to-be former administration had, but you also want to implement the ideas of your own or better those. Meaning that a smooth transition of power means better for the community and citizens of the city of Cleveland. You don't want a rough transition of power like we had with the presidency where former President Donald Trump did not want to give current President Joe Biden pretty much anything. And the problem that we have with those particular transitions of power, let me explain, is that when you have somebody that doesn't want to do anything, then you have a problem with giving that particular control over to, as far as the population. We still have that $500 million stimulus that needs to be taken care of. And if you have, CHM and other things, if you're still having paying trouble with your rent during this pandemic, because we're still going through that. Now, what I actually want to talk about is some people were not happy about the secret or election of city council president Blaine Griffin. Now, the thing about it is that, there's a lot of stuff. Now, Blaine Griffin did endorse Kevin Kelly. So working with, the person who beat him, Justin Bibb, is going to be there. But as I was told by Blaine Griffin is not going to be toxic. He's not going to be a problem. He's going to work with the soon-to-be mayor, Justin Bibb, to get this city going on the right track as it should be. Now, just like, we had transitions in our city, we're having transitions in our sports teams and things of that nature. I'll get into that later because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about as far as that. Now, in other things, we still have a 14-year-old girl that was killed, and one of the people turned themselves in today, and others should also have that. We still have to be worried about the crime in this city and how people can be set up and be killed, and not worry about people who don't harm people and being accused of stuff that they didn't do in the first place. So, misunderstandings can lead into problems that go down the road for some people. Let me just explain something. I will never harm anybody, period. But the thing about it is that I don't want to be accused of harming anybody, period. So this is my thing. I always try to be level and transparent as far as with everybody and level with me. The thing about it is that if I support you, I support you. If I support a particular candidate and you support the same candidate, then I'm going to support that same candidate with you. There's no need for any manipulation. There's no need for any lies. There's no need for any deceit as far as that. Let me just explain. I've been on this from day one as far as when I first started, and I'm still going to be on this, as far as that. Now, the thing about it is the week of Thanksgiving, I will not be here because I am going to spend some quality time with family, and hopefully my son will be flying in and we can spend quality time together. So the last week in November, I will not be here because of that nature. As far as next week, I will be here. And the reason that I will be here is because I'm not going anywhere and no one's asked me to. And people have suggested some things, but the thing about it is that I'm not going to go anywhere. And the reason I have to do this is because of the simple fact of the matter is I'm still the voice as far as helping the community. And I am humble. And sometimes you get humbled. Let me just explain something. Sometimes you can be humbled. And I was humbled this week. And when and it's the old saying goes, what goes up must come down. Sometimes even the move that you actually have has to come down because you have been on, you have to thank the creator for giving you this platform. And I thank God and the creator for giving me the platform that I have now. Human T-Rex is my engineer on the ones and twos. His show is at 9 o'clock tonight. Please check him out because he's going to have a fire guest in there. So check him out on that particular lines. I really appreciate, again, everybody that stepped up, looked out for me and things of that nature. And yes, the thing about it is that I can be transparent. Yes, I was going through some personal issues as far as any type of relationship and things of that nature. But the thing about it is that, even when I am going through some stuff and you see that, and I had to you got to pull yourself together and pull yourself up. I always going to pull myself up and let people know that if I can help you while you're going through something, then it helps me while I'm doing the same thing. Meaning this, that I want to give you guys, the transparency of me, the heart of me, because the simple fact of the matter is that, that's going to be what I have. And the thing about it is that I don't wish no ill will on anybody. I do have a petty side. So just like everybody else, and I can starchfully admit that I have a petty side because of the simple fact of the matter is if I feel like that I'm done wrong, then, I'm going to say what's going on. But the thing about it is that, getting everything else as far as me, not doing anything on Friday, that was because the issue had to be taken care of right then and there. And it like sometimes I can step on people's toes all the time. So, the thing about it is that, I know that people, talk to me and things of that nature. And I'm going to give a couple of special, from Lisa Townsend and Delvis Valentine to Andre White. But the thing about it is that the world moves, even if you're not moving with it. So the thing about it is I got to get back on the bus and do what I have to do. Now, what the thing about it is that what the transition means in this city of Cleveland and everything else is that we must support the mayor-elect until he's sworn in. Now, people say hold him accountable if he messes up, but also we needed to do our part. That means we had to look out for our communities and we had to look out for everything else as far as our communities, our citizens, our families that live in the communities that we live in, especially on the east side, because crime happens and it's still going on. No matter what happens, bad stuff still goes on. So we must pull together and look forward to pulling that transition up. Now, let me explain something else. We also have to make sure that we are doing our part in the community to make sure that when the new mayor is sworn in, that, we still have an even keel and we have stability in our communities and we still have conscious people in our communities. The work doesn't stop because the new mayor is elected. Let me just explain. Just because everybody was whooping and hollering about Justin Bibb. Oh, by the way, if I accidentally sent you some pictures in your inbox of Justin Bibb and when I took him with him and the SEIU people when they endorsed him, I do apologize about that. The thing about it is that the picture was actually in one of my stories on Facebook, and it just got sent into Messenger, and it was not, it wasn't for, it wasn't intentional. It was unintentional. It was an accident. People, why did you send me this, Larry? I'm like, listen, it was an accident. I apologize about that. My phone has a hair trigger sometimes, and this OnePlus from T-Mobile is good. But the thing about it is that, I look up, all of a sudden I'm on airplane mode for like 10 minutes and I miss like 4 calls. So, like I said, even electronics sometimes, and, they have a mind of their own. So let me explain something about, why that with the new leadership, and I call this the new guard, because this is what it is. Most of the council seats have flipped. Ward 7, Ward 4, Ward 5, Ward 12. Most of them have pretty much flipped to work with the new mayor-elect, and we have a new city council president. We have a new city council president. By the way, the unwritten rule of the city council president and the mayor that have to be different nationalities or different colors. Usually, the unwritten rule is that if the mayor is black, the city council president is white, or if the mayor is white, the city council president is black. We have a black mayor, we have an African American mayor, and we have an African American city council president. So the thing about it is that the African American community, we got what we want. We got two people in power that are higher ups in the city of Cleveland. What we must do is we must support them. If you want to hold them accountable if they make a mistake, fine. But the thing about it is, like, we must support them because we have two people who are from the east side of Cleveland that will look out for the best interest, our best interest, period. We have two people that will look out for the best interest. So, you're right. And some people say we can't rely on just black leaders. We have to hold everybody accountable as far as city council people, whatever color they are. We can't do that. We can't just like, oh, well, everybody got to be, on key and transparent, because the west side going to look out. West side of Cleveland is going to be all right. But there's some problems on the west side too. But the thing about it is like, as far as the city of Cleveland is concerned, as far as the east side is concerned, especially the leaders on the east side of Cleveland, the ward leader, the councilman on the east side of Cleveland, you must do a better job. If you got reelected, you must do a better job. That means that, listen, Joe Jones, who happy birthday, shout out to you, better job. Kevin Bishop, really better job. Deborah Gray, you just got in there. You have to also straighten up as far as that. Ward 5, Richard A. Starr. Congratulations, brother. Better job. Ward 6, Blaine Griffin, City Council President. You're going to have a lot of duties. Still do a better job. Ward 7, Stephanie House, African American woman. You're going to have to do a good job. And all the other East Side wards, Polenzek, everybody else, Rebecca Marr, things of that nature. All the people who have the East Side wards, do a better job. Step it up. Because right now we're about to, I feel like Cleveland is going to be going into the next millennium, updating the websites and everything else like that. We're going to be as big as we are as far as Vegas, as far as Atlanta, as far as everything else. We have the All-Star game coming in. We have other events going on before the end of the year. Of course, we have the All-Star game coming in February, and we must step up and do what we need to do to make this city better. We have the National Association of Black Journalists coming in 2025. And we have a lot of stuff that's going to be happening right now. We must step up to the plate, period. We can't just sit on our laurels. Oh, we elected a black mayor. Oh, there's a black city council president. Same thing happened with, I think the same thing happened with Barack Obama. We ain't flipped the Senate seats and everything else. We have a lot of stuff that needs to go on in place. We still have crime in the city. We still have other things in the city. So, but be hopeful. Let me just explain this. I don't want to be the sound of gloom and doom. Be hopeful. Be hopeful that you have these things in place. Be hopeful, because hope is the best medicine that you have. You hope things get better. Even if you're at your breaking point with some things, you still hope that things get better. You still have to have that hope. Whatever happened between the relationship or personal bonds that may have been broken or may have been severed can be repaired. Also, you got to realize if they were severed for a reason. But you also got to make sure that if you can mend fences to work together to help the community be better, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what you need to do. The bottom line is that we're losing too many people to the pandemic. The pandemic as far as the coronavirus, violence, and everything else like that, losing people to natural causes. And we're losing young people to violence. So we got to pull them up too. And the one thing is that what I want to do is, no matter what I'm going through, if I can help somebody with whatever they're going through, that's why I'm here. That's why Larry H. Gardner is here. And the H stands for hope. And the thing about it is that you got to hope for the better. We've had too many people, losing their life to suicides because they couldn't take it anymore. This life is too much. And when you look outside your communities, and I'm not using the word neighborhood, I'm using the word communities. When you look outside your communities, you see hopelessness. And that's something that we need to put behind us as a community. And we need to pull ourselves together as far as a community to do it. See, this is a message of love. And no matter how anybody does it, the thing about it is like, the Our Father prayer, the middle of that prayer is as we forgive the trespassers, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Meaning that I say that to my son every time that I talk to him, and I leave that message on for him right before he goes to school, even if I have to wake up extra early to do it. Sometimes I roll over and go back to sleep. But the thing about it is that you have to have that particular message. And I believe that particular message. And the thing about it is some of us will slip and fall and, sin. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. But the thing about it is we have to pull ourselves up and pull ourselves together. One of the way to do it is that, you must still continue your right to vote on issues. We have issue 24 that passed. Of course, the police unions are going to fight it in court because the simple fact of the matter is they don't want to be held accountable because they think that because they serve and protect the public that they're above the law. The survey says, period. And maybe I'm boring some people right about now, but the thing about it is that we must step up and do what we have to do. So the thing about it is that I understand, and step up and step in and do whatever you need to do for other people as well. Now, don't take advantage of the situation. If somebody don't feel like doing it, fine. But if somebody does feel like doing it, you must try to answer the call, period. With a little bit of kindness. And sometimes that's all people need. Even when you're mad at the person, all other people, like, the thing about it, a little bit of kindness goes a long way. A phone call to reach out. Even if they, like, somebody actually got on my nerves. And I can say it. A couple of them, got on my nerves. And the thing about it is like, they just wanted to just say hello. And the thing about it is that, going through grinding for the campaign, grinding for this political season. And I said, you know what? Hi, I apologize. And the thing about it is somebody makes you laugh on a post or whatever. And if you can reach out to them, shout out to Kat Danielle. She's always been funny. Shout out to everybody that's, Elisa Townsend, Heather Cavins, Delvis Valentine, Abdul Kareem Nafi, Black Lives Matter. I told myself that I would not go overboard with what happened, and I'm not, because the simple fact is not irrelevant. It's just the simple fact of the matter is that I, have dealt with that particular situation, and now I have to do what I have to do as far as getting the job done here at Nerve DJs. Speaking of getting the job done, I got to give a shout out to Justin Bibb and what the reaction caused. As soon as Justin Bibb was elected, a couple of days later, Chief Calvin Williams resigned. Former Chief Calvin Williams resigned. And the thing about it is everybody wanted Calvin to go. Well, he said, you know what? I'm not waiting to get fired. I'm taking myself out. He's like, I'm tired. I got stuff. I got stuff to do. I got women to take care of. Excuse me, whatever. Like it was said last week. Calvin said, you know what? It's like the SpongeBob meme. And I'm gonna head out. Holla at you later. The one thing we have to do as far as the chief of police, it has to be from an outside force outside of Ohio to straighten the city up. Because the the problem we have is crime. So, we gotta, if once Justin gets sworn in, he can hire his new police chief And we and everybody else agree that it has to be from the outside of Ohio, bringing somebody in, probably a former FBI person, probably somebody that will take care of the stuff that's going on in the city of Cleveland. It has to be taken care of because the simple fact of the matter is that we have problems in this community that need to be taken care of as far as crime in this city. We just, like I said, a 14-year-old girl was kidnapped by 6 to 8 people who are all teenagers. We have two 13-year-olds getting these guns and shooting a 12-year-old. And we having babies turn into hardcore felons before the age of 18. And that should not happen anywhere in our communities. I don't care where you live at. This is crazy. We got, children losing their minds with these guns. We have to stop the gun flow from getting to the cast of illegal guns that come into major metropolitan cities is astronomical. I mean, children can buy a gun before they can buy a pack of cigarettes legally or smoke or a Black and Mild or drink. They're not supposed to have their hands on them, but when they do, it's deadly. And we've seen that. And, people are dying over that. And this is, and the thing about it is we have, 91-year-old women getting killed. Listen, this is an older woman. This is an old woman. This is an elderly woman. Excuse me. I had to say that like that. Sorry. This is an elderly woman that got killed. She's 91. You want to kill a 91-year-old woman for? What the hell sense does that shit make? It don't make no damn sense. And I'm saying it like that. It don't make no sense. And the time of it is, and I know the queen with the gold mic is probably listening somewhere, or she'll be listening later. And she always says, aren't you tired yet? Well, aren't we tired of this yet? Aren't we tired yet? Aren't we really tired of this crap? We tired. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this no more. I don't. I really hate it. I really hate it because of the simple fact of the matter is that the sickness in this community, in the communities, is that we can't let our older women and men live out their twilight years in the community which they love. We have to kill them for what damn reason? I have absolutely no idea why we're doing this. This is sickening. See, the thing about it is, even though I'm maybe going through personal demons, and I would call them that, I'm still weeping for this community. And it's heartbreaking because we have such a strong, diverse community that we are killing off, especially on the east side. And this elderly woman, elderly woman that probably lived her life to the fullest, done everything she's supposed to do, secure her place in life. Y'all want to kill her. Let her, instead of just letting her go peacefully on with her life, letting her enjoy her twilight years. Shit's stupid. And the reason why it's stupid is because this got to take place better. We have the national stuff. Now, the infrastructure bill has finally been completed. That means that the roads will be rebuilt. You're going to probably see a lot of cones if you're traveling across the USA, rebuilding the bridges and stuff like that or repairing them. That needs to happen because let's just be honest. Some of these bridges and stuff are old as hell anyway, and they needed to be replaced with concrete. And, there's some stuff going on right now. Listen, I'm going to say, I always crack on East Cleveland road streets, but really they just need to just revamp everything. Isn't that right, T-Rex? That's right. So the thing about it is that we got to revamp everything. We just can't listen, East Cleveland, if you get some stimulus money, I know Brandon King got reelected, and Ernest Smith and Nathaniel Martin and everybody else. Listen, repair the roads, damn it. Like somebody gonna lose a whole ass car on these East Cleveland streets. Get better. So is Cleveland. Some of the Cleveland streets, they're gonna lose a whole truck. An SUV gonna be just swallowed in the middle of the road because these roads aren't repaired. Period. You can't do that, So Shout out to Sean L. Howard and Mr. A. Well Bridges. This situation with the killing of children, the killing of elderly people, this has got to this has got to stop. And I know we're changing to the new guard and the changing of the guard. Sometimes change is good. Sometimes change needs to be removed. Some people need to be removed from their positions, not just in professionally, but personally, if they mean you no good. Now, if you mean them no good, then you remove yourself. Meaning that if you were there to disrupt and harm their personal psyche, and they warned you and they told you that please do not do that. If you're not all the way into what I'm doing, you can remove yourself before, and then you act like you're interested, but then you not interested anymore. Or things have changed. You know, people can switch their feelings off and on like a light switch. The problem is that the other person is standing holding their heart in their hand like, what the fuck just happened to me? You said this, and and the thing about it is you take people at their word, face value. If you're there to harm, don't let them don't do that to them. And then if you care, you give them an explanation why. Just them be like, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes why the hell you do that? Give them an explanation why. So they don't think that it's something wrong with them, because some people, their self-esteem, just like anybody else's, can crack at a moment's notice. You don't know what that person might have lost their family member or lost a friend that day. And then you come up and say, well, I don't need you anymore. Bye. And the thing about it is when people reach out, reach back. When people reach out, reach back. And don't do it because you need something. Reach back because they deserve to be reached back. If they didn't do any harm to you, don't act like you did. They're doing harm to you now when, like sometimes people have irrational behavior to things because they are hurt. You got to understand that. As long as they have not threatened you or harmed you in any single way, shape, or form, then you must reach back. This is from personal experience. This is from other things that, gone through. And then the second thing is don't lie. Because a lie would destroy any type of thing, because you might need that person again in the future. And if you lie, then you probably will never get what they need to give you, because God says, don't lie about it. Don't lie. There's a lot of sins as far as lying. Just be truthful and fair. If there's something that they didn't do that you didn't like, tell them. The thing about it is that you have to let them know what's going on. And even if it's you, if it's something personal with you that you just can't, like, if you're sick or if you're scared or if you're hurt, you never know. They might help you. Like, even if you leaving them in feel like they're leaving you in alerts, you give people a chance to tell them what's going on with you. Just like we gave people a chance to vote, and even though it was still 36.1%, resoundingly saying that we needed a new change in leadership, and we want that young man, Justin Bibb, to lead us into the next millennium in Cleveland, period. Sometimes you get burnt out. And I think the problem is that the reason I wanted Calvin to go is because the homicides was getting higher. And I think that he was burnt out dealing with some other stuff that was going on. So he had to leave, and we needed fresh ideas to lead us in there. Sometimes you need fresh ideas. And then the one thing that you got to do is what we want our politicians, and you want me to be transparent. We want people to be transparent with other people. And speaking of relationships that have been severed, we're going to talk in the next segment about the Cleveland Browns and OBJ and how the Browns responded this past Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody take their masks off. That's why I'm playing Future on the break right now. Take your mask off and show your true colors. Don't be afraid to reveal yourself because somebody might be going through the same things that you do. We'll be right back on the Headline Eye. Peace.